Live from the BDN Studios, it's Bang and Dang.
That's awesome.
If you don't like that, then
You ain't black.
Time for another episode of According to Wikipedia with your host Bang and Dang, and as last week, and actually last week's episode couldn't be more relevant. If you've seen a bunch of stuff that's been on social media these last couple of days about the World Record July and World Record this and blah, 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 climate change.
it's all been fact-checked and community notes.
Well, today, speaking of, just to go back on that episode a little bit, a scientist, I'm assuming, doctor, whatever, shared a thing. Antarctica is as cold as it's been since 2017. Mm-hmm. But who knows? But you go on weather.com, and the first thing on their thing is record July. Or in over 120 years or something, the world is baking.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, let's go listen to our last episode of
There's
Climate Change.
screenshots of Europe, because they were the ones that were whining, from 2018 and 2000 now at the same day, and it was actually colder when they said it was going to be. Actually, what was it I seen? They were claiming that it was going to be 90.
Somebody, I think it was John Kerry or something, saying by 2014 it would be like they're saying it is now.
Right. And the other day, when they were saying that Europe was supposed to be 44 degrees Celsius, which is like 90-something, people were like...
it would be like over 100, wouldn't it?
Yeah, people were like, dude, it's literally 60 degrees here, and my heat kicked on this morning.
I saw another thing. People were making fun of it, which was actually surprising me. Nobody was really like behind it, but this dude shared, 90 degrees. It's unlivable, unworkable, and blah, blah, blah. And everybody from Arizona and New Mexico and Texas is like, excuse me?
Right.
They're like, I should be dead by like 27 years right now.
Or I like the ones that were like, 90 degree in the middle of July. Oh, my. What do you
Idiots.
expect, you dummies? Like, you've never seen this shit before. It's just, and people are so gullible. They're just eating up like they've never been in a summer before.
Or there's never been heat waves before.
Always. How many times we've seen heat waves in Jersey and all that on the East Coast?
Not only that.
Flock to beaches.
They're like, international. India right now is burning up. India always is.
Always.
And there's heat waves everywhere, guys. So,
But like I said, yeah, it was funny. They were saying it was so scorching over in Europe, and people were literally like, dude, I had my heat on this morning. And it was raining. That one chick was on Twitter. She was in Rome, and then showed a picture of her going back into Manchester. And it was like 20-some degrees Celsius. It would be, what, like 70, 60 or something
around
like that. And raining and shit. They're like, oh, yeah, this is a heat wave here, guys.
yeah, I urge you guys to go check out that episode that we just did. But the wheel, after the end of that one, led us to this one. Quite the change from climate change. Sexual intercourse.
Which is,
I guess that's a pretty big topic in today's world as well. Sexual intercourse. Whatever Wikipedia says about this, from what I gather, though, I mean, it's just pretty much describing sexual intercourse and a bunch of stuff, diseases and blah, 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 blah. I didn't see too many about the gay shit. So, yeah. Sexual intercourse is not going to be a real long one like the last couple episodes. Probably maybe an hour. We'll see. Sexual intercourse may be called coitus, copulation, coition, or intercourse. Coitus is derived from the Latin word, which everything is, apparently. Coiotio, or coiure. C-O-I-R-E, meaning a coming together or joining together or to go together.
Hey.
And is known under different ancient Latin names for a variety of sexual activities, but usually denotes penile vaginal penetration. This is often called vaginal intercourse or vaginal sex or just fucking.
Right.
Vaginal sex, and less often vaginal intercourse, may also denote any vaginal sexual activity, particularly if penetrative, including sexual activity between lesbian couples. Copulation, by contrast, more often denotes the mating process. Oh, especially for non-human animals, right? For animals. It can mean a variety of sexual activities between opposite sex or same-sex parents, but generally means the sexually reproductive act of transferring sperm from a male to a female or sexual procreation between a man and a woman. Right. Hear that, guys?
Man and a woman.
Not Adam and Steve.
Right. Although sex and having sex also most commonly denote penile vaginal intercourse. Sex can be significantly broad in its meaning and may cover any penetrative or non-penetrative sexual activity between two or more people. Damn. The World Health...
Get those orgies.
Right. The corrupt World Health Organization states that non-English languages and cultures use different words and sexual activity for sexual activity, with slightly different meanings, though. Various vulgarisms, slang, and euphemisms are used for sexual intercourse or other sexual activity, such as fuck, shag, the phrase sleep together. Did you guys sleep together? We didn't sleep at all. Did you get a haircut? No, I got them all cut. No, oh, sorry.
I get it.
Euphemism.
You got your ears lowered. Remember that Doug episode? You ever seen the Doug episode? It's like, so you're going to get your ears lowered. And then he's like, I'm going to get my ears lowered. And he's freaking out about it.
Actually, heard that for the first time when I cut my hair last. That dude we just let run out the barn. He's like, oh, look at you, got your ears lowered. And I was like, look at you, stupid euphemisms.
Look at you, 1920s.
He is from Georgia. Laws of some countries use the euphemism carnal knowledge. Penetration of vagina by the erect penis is additionally known as intromission.
Carnal knowledge is an archaic or legal euphemism for sexual. And the term sexual penetration is widely used, though. So carnal knowledge back in the day, back in Bible times, pretty much was called sex. Carnal knowledge. They had carnal knowledge with one another. Okay.
All right, carnal knowledge. Penetration of the vagina by the erect penis is additionally known as intromission, or by the Latin name, emissio penis.
That's what the chick says to the dude. Emissio penis.
Emissio penis. Which is Latin for insertion of penis. The age of the first sexual intercourse is called sex arch.
Okay, what was your sex arch, huh? Vaginal, anal, and oral sex are recognized as sexual intercourse more often than other sexual behaviors. Sexual activity that does not involve penile vaginal sex or other sexual penetration might be used to retain virginity, sometimes called technical virginity, or labeled outer course. One reason virginity loss is often based on penile vaginal intercourse is because heterosexual couples may engage in anal or oral sex as a way of being sexually active while maintaining that they are pure or virgins, since they have not engaged in the reproductive act of coitus.
Okay.
I mean, still counts. You got your ass railed.
Right. Oh, wow. Some gay men considered fraught or oral sex as a way of maintaining their virginities, with penile and anal penetration used as sexual intercourse for virginity loss, while other gay men may consider fraught or oral sex as their main forms of sexual activity. They're like, you ain't sticking in my ass. I ain't that gay.
I might be gay, but I ain't that gay.
Lesbians may categorize oral sex or fingering as sexual intercourse and subsequently an act of virginity loss.
Yeah.
Anything up the vagina. Or tribadism as a primary form of sexual activity. What the hell is tribadism?
Toys or something, maybe?
Maybe.
Oh, what the hell?
What the hell?
It's two women rubbing their pussies together while she's on top. It's tribbing, or commonly known as scissoring.
Right.
Okay. This may involve vulva-to-vulva contact or rubbing the vulva against the partner's thigh, stomach, butt, arm, anywhere. Anywhere that your fucking
like
pussy
a dog.
rugs.
Like a dog coming up and humping somebody's leg.
Right.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Researchers commonly use sexual intercourse to denote penile vaginal intercourse while using specific words, such as anal sex, oral sex. They use that for other sexual behaviors.
Well, no shit. Nobody says I had sex, but you mean you got your dick sucked. Nobody would ever say that.
You had oral sex?
Right. You did oral?
I had a blowjob.
Scholars Richard M. Lerner and Lauren Steinberg state that researchers also rarely disclose how they conceptualize sex or, quote-unquote, even whether they resolve potential discrepancies in conceptualizations of sex. Okay, Lerner and Steinberg attribute researchers' focus on penile vaginal sex to the larger culture's preoccupation with this form of sexual activity, and have expressed concern that the widespread, unquestioned equation of penile vaginal intercourse with sex reflects a failure to examine systematically whether the respondents' understanding of the question about sexual activity matches what the researcher had in mind. Oh, shut up.
Dude. Oh, that was the most stupidest thing I've ever heard in my damn life.
Way too
You're
much
going a little too deep there, guy.
Right, literally, that's what she said.
This focus can also relegate other forms of mutual sexual activity to
Foreplay. Let's get on the floor.
To foreplay or contribute to them not being regarded as real sex, and limits the meaning of rape.
Okay, it came out of nowhere.
So you can that's just, what's that called? Sexual harassment? If you grab somebody's titty?
Or you just stick a finger up there, is that rape?
If you just
Sexual assault, I guess.
Right, if you're just walking by somebody and go, boop. What was that? What was that? I sexually assaulted you, baby.
Grab him by the pussy.
Yeah. It may also be that conceptually conflating sexual activity with vaginal intercourse and sexual function hinders and limits information about sexual behavior that non-heterosexual people may be engaging in. Or information about heterosexuals who may be engaging in non-vaginal sexual activity. Whatever. Studies regarding the meaning of sexual intercourse sometimes come... So we're trying to figure out what is the actual meaning of sexual intercourse.
You stick your dick in a pussy, dude.
Right.
Geez, sorry for the vulgar language. Not really.
Or just call it sexual relations.
Or just call it sex.
Right. Or making out. Or fooling around. Made a third base, but you didn't do it. Is that considered sexual intercourse? That's what they're saying?
No.
Does stick it in one's mouth count as sexual intercourse?
No.
Right. Then they say it was sexual intercourse.
Yeah.
Studies regarding the meaning of sexual intercourse sometimes come into conflict. While most consider penile vaginal intercourse to be sex, whether anal or oral intercourse are considered sex is more debatable, though, with oral sex ranking lowest.
Yeah, I would definitely say anal is a form of sex for sure.
Right.
Like, if you get banged in your butt and not your vagina, you still had sex.
Right, I would say so.
Oral sex is way different.
Right.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention stated that although there are only limited national data about how often adolescents engage, how the hell would you skip right in there?
Right, and why would you even want to know that?
There's only limited national data about how often adolescents engage in oral sex. Some data suggest that many adolescents who engage in oral sex do not consider it to be sex. Therefore, they may use oral sex as an option to experience sex while still,
There's those words
in their
again.
minds, remaining abstinent.
Those words again. Suggest and may have. I hate that.
Yeah. Researchers state it is possible that individuals who engage in oral sex but do not consider it as sex may not associate the acts with the potential health risks they can bring.
They don't know. They're just guessing. They may not.
In other cases, condom use is a factor, with some men stating that sexual activity involving the protection of a condom is not real sex. That's stupid. Or the real
really
thing.
not touching my skin.
Right, there's no skin-skin contact. This view is common among men in Africa. I like to have condoms in Africa.
Right.
Where sexual activity involving the protection of a condom is often associated with emasculation because condoms prevent direct penile to skin genital contact. Okay. Well, Africa, I mean, they don't give a shit.
Right. That's why they have 75,000 kids.
Right. Gotta work those farms, baby.
Sexual intercourse or other sexual activity can...
Well, this section deals with stimulation.
Oh, stimulate. Sexual intercourse or other sexual activity can encompass various sexually stimulating factors. Psychological stimulation or...
Physiological.
Yeah, physiological stimulation or psychological stimulation, including different sex positions, such as the missionary position, the most common human sex position that there is, or the use of sex toys. Foreplay that may precede some sexual activities. It should, not may. It may.
Right, who just is like
they don't know.
Just gets down to it.
Sometimes I guess people.
Well,
do.
I mean, if you're in a pinch,
right? Got to get it done. Often lead to sexual. Okay. Foreplay precedes sexual activities, often lead into sexual arousal of partners and resulting in the erection of the penis or natural lubrication of the vagina.
Yes.
Wet pussy. That whap.
that whap.
That whap. And that head.
The
head whap. That whap head.
Hard ass dick.
It is also... It is also common for people to be sexually satisfied by kissing or touched erratically or
not erratically.
Erotically or held as they are during sexual intercourse. What? Why would you want to hold something like that?
Dry humping.
I guess, yeah.
Non-primate females copulate only when estrus, but sexual intercourse is possible at any time of the menstrual cycle for women, of course. Sex pheromones facilitate copulatory reflexes in various organisms, but in humans, the detection of pheromones is impaired and they have only residual effects. It's not like, imagine if guys walked around and were like animals and smelled when a woman's in heat and shit, and just you can't control them. They start humping everything. Non-primate females put themselves in the crucial lordosis position and remain motionless, but these motor copulatory reflexes are no longer functional in women. Excuse me. Oh, they just sit there like an animal. They just sit there and take it while the animal rails.
Look at that other cat. Look at that cat. He's like, man, come on, guys.
Jeez.
Somewhere else, will ya?
Tell you about that.
Elephant's like,
Dude,
damn.
my search history is going to be fucked after that.
Oh, man. During coitus, the partners orient their hips to allow the penis to move back and forth in the vagina to cause friction, typically without fully removing the penis. I mean, that'd be weird. In this way, they stimulate themselves and each other, often continuing until orgasm and either one or both partners is achieved. How many times both that happens, do you think?
Well, they're going to give they think.
For human females, stimulation of the clitoris plays a significant role in sexual activity. 70 to 80% of women require direct clitoral stimulation to achieve their orgasm that they're looking for. Though indirect clitoral stimulation, for example, via the vaginal intercourse, may also be sufficient. See orgasm in females.
Hey, click that. All right.
Because of this, some couples may engage in the women on top position or the coital alignment technique, a technique combining the riding high variation of missionary position. Oh, riding high, sitting up, cowgirl.
No, they're saying in that you don't go in and out, you go up when you're on top.
Right.
Like the guy goes up and down instead of going in and out. Weird. Okay.
A technique combining the riding high variation of missionary position with pressure, counter-pressure movements performed by each partner in the rhythm and sexual penetration to maximize clitoral stimulation. Basically, it's move those damn hips.
Right. Anal sex, right?
No.
Involves stimulation of the anus, anal cavity, sphincter valve, or rectum.
Sphincter.
It most commonly means the insertion of a man's penis into another person's rectum, but may also mean the use of sex toys or fingers to penetrate the anus, or oral sex on the anus, which is analingus, or pegging. Weird. Oral sex consists of all the sexual activities that involve the use of the mouth and throat to stimulate the genitalia or anus. It is sometimes performed to the exclusion of all other forms of sexual activity and may include the ingestion or absorption of semen during fellatio or vaginal fluids during cunnilingus. Fingering involves the digital manipulation of the clitoris, rest of the vulva, vagina, or anus for the purpose of sexual arousal and sexual stimulation. It may constitute the entire sexual encounter, or it may be part of a mutual masturbation, foreplay, or other sexual activities. So whenever.
Right, just do whenever you want.
Just whenever you do it.
Oh, wow. Natural human reproduction involves penile vaginal penetration, no other way to reproduce people. This is during which semen containing male gametes, known as sperm, or spermatozoa.
Spermatozoa. That's what I'm going to start calling it.
Spermatozoa. This is expelled via ejaculation. Ejaculation. This is expelled by ejaculation through the penis into the vagina. It's kind of like when the mom bird comes back with food and then spits the food in the
totally different.
baby bird's mouth.
Totally different.
It's kind of the same. It's kind of like when you have to grease a bearing, stick it in there.
Yeah, I get it. Or it's kind of like how you come into a vagina.
Right. The sperm passes through the vaginal vault, through the cervix, and into the uterus, and then into the fallopian tubes.
Oh, yeah.
Millions of sperm are present in each ejaculation to increase the chances of fertilization. But only one reaching an egg or ovum is sufficient to achieve fertilization. You guys ever watched Look Who's Talking? It shows you how that little process works. When a fertile ovum from the female is present in the fallopian tubes, the male gamete joins with the ovum, resulting in fertilization and the formation of a new embryo, which is a baby. When a fertilization ovum reaches the uterus, it becomes implanted in the lining of the uterus, and a pregnancy is thus begun.
Right. Pregnancy rates for sexual intercourse are highest during the menstrual cycle time, from some 5 days before until 1 to 2 days after ovulation. For optimal pregnancy chance, there are recommendations of sexual intercourse every 1 or 2 days or every 2 or 3 days. Studies have shown no significant difference between different sex positions and pregnancy rates as long as it results in ejaculation into the vagina.
Right, as long as you get in there.
So the myth where you ever seen the movies of where they're trying for a baby, the chick rolls over and puts her knees up like keep the sperm in there.
Keep it in there.
That's not how it works. When a sperm donor has sexual intercourse with a woman, sperm donor? That's not how that works.
That's how they want it done naturally.
Yes, who is not his partner for the sole purpose of impregnating the woman. This may be known as natural insemination. Oh, instead of artificial.
Right.
Artificial insemination, the dude jerks off and they do a turkey baster up there.
Yeah.
They're both methods to achieve pregnancy by artificial or partially artificial means, which assistive reproductive technology is.
Right. For artificial insemination, sperm donors, they may donate their sperm through a sperm bank. And the insemination is performed with the express intention of attempting to impregnate the female.
Well, I would hope so.
To this extent, its purpose is the medical equivalent of sexual intercourse. Medical sexual
Basically,
intercourse.
the doctor got her pregnant.
Right. Who's your daddy? Dr. Filippo? He's dead now, though.
What if she's like, never mind.
Oh, ICI insemination, which involves the deposit of usually raw semen in the vagina of a woman, is in effect a substitute for intercourse and is often contrasted with normal intercourse in this context. Reproductive methods also extend to gay and lesbian couples. For gay male pairings, there's the option of surrogate pregnancy. For if you guys don't know what surrogate is, it's a person just like that guy who gave himself to that lady.
Right, except for it's the other way around.
Right. For lesbian couples, there's donor insemination in addition to choosing surrogate pregnancies as well.
Right. Okay, which leads us to the section entitled Safe Sex and Birth Control.
Hey.
You can also see the comparison birth control methods.
Okay.
Don't care. There are a variety of safe sex methods that are practiced by heterosexual and same-sex couples, including... Why would you need safe sex for diseases, but including non-penetrative sex acts, and heterosexual couples may use oral or anal or both as a means of birth control.
Okay.
However, pregnancy can still occur with anal sex or other forms of sexual activity if the penis is near the vagina.
Right.
Well, your butthole's near the vagina.
Right.
Such as during intercrural sex or other genital rubbing. What is intercrural sex?
I mean, you really gotta shove a finger up.
Oh, where you're just like
Right.
sliding it between her thighs and the vagina, but not actually in. But I mean, you're. What do they say? Like it.
I mean, the vagina just don't suck up semen if it sees it at the bottom of the.
It could still drip in there because your sperm is still
dripping
active
there.
like a half hour after it's out of your body.
Yeah, it still has to go all the way through the body.
It's plausible. Clearly.
Actually, sperm's only like alive for like 3 minutes.
No, it's
in the
literally-
outside air.
No.
After it touches air.
No.
Yeah.
No. 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 It's like, I don't say it in there. I'm pretty sure it's like 20-something minutes. Almost a half hour. Yeah. Or genital rubbing, all that good stuff. And its sperm is deposited near the vagina's entrance and travels along the vagina's lubricating fluids. Oh, that's true too.
Right.
The risk of pregnancy can also occur without the penis being near the vagina because sperm may be transported to the vaginal opening
fingers.
by the vagina coming in contact with fingers or other non-genital body parts that have come in contact with semen. Weird, dude. Imagine that. We didn't even have sex. I'm virgin. Maybe that's how the Virgin Mary, Joseph, well, not Joseph.
Safe sex is a relevant harm reduction philosophy. Condoms are used as a form of safe sex and contraception. Condoms are widely recommended for prevention of STDs.
Well, they call them STIs now.
All right. According to reports by the National Institutes of Health and the World Health Organization, correct and consistent use of latex condoms reduces the risk of HIV and AIDS by approximately 85 to 99%, relative to risk when unprotected.
Oh, no shit.
Right. Condoms are rarely used for oral sex. There is significantly less research on behaviors with regard to condom use for anal and oral sex. The most efficient way to avoid sexually transmitted infection is to abstain from sexual intercourse altogether, especially the vaginal, anal, and oral sexual intercourse.
So don't do anything.
Yeah, right.
Masturbate. Yes. Decisions and options concerning birth control can be affected by cultural reasons such as religion, gender roles, or folklore. In the predominantly Catholic countries, Ireland, Italy, and the Philippines, fertility awareness and the rhythm method are emphasized while disapproval is expressed with regard to other contraceptive methods. Worldwide, sterilization is more common birth control method. Well, you don't want to do that. And use of the intrauterine device, is the IUD, is the most common and effective way of reversible contraception. Yeah, they stick it's like a inside condom for the vajayjay.
Weird.
Conception and contraception are additionally a life and death situation in developing countries, where 1 in 3 women give birth before age 20. However, 90% of unsafe abortions in these countries would be prevented by effective contraception use.
Exactly. The National Survey of Sexual Health and Behavior indicated in 2010 that 1 of 4 acts of vaginal intercourse are condom protected in the United States. And 1 in 3 of those are among singles. That condom use is higher among Black and Hispanic Americans than among white Americans and those from other racial groups.
I don't believe that.
Right.
I don't believe that at all.
And that adults using the condom for intercourse were just as likely to rate the sexual extent positively in terms of arousal, pleasure, and orgasm than when having intercourse without one. I mean, it's clearly better without one, but
right.
I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, I don't believe that stat on there, though. The prevalence, according to Wikipedia.
See, there was no blue things up there, though.
Right. Yeah. Penile vaginal penetration is the most common form of sexual intercourse, yes. Studies indicate that most heterosexual couples engage in a vaginal intercourse nearly every sexual encounter. National Survey of Sexual Health and Behavior reported in 2010 that vaginal intercourse is the most prevalent sexual behavior among men and women of all ages and ethnicities. How much are we paying for this board thing?
Right. Like, no shit.
Clint E. Brewis and others have stated that it is the most frequently studied behavior. And of course, yeah, because you guys are pervs. And is often the focus of sexuality education programming for youth, because you guys are pervs.
Right.
Others have said that it is the most widely endorsed and practiced sexual act in our society. No shit.
Wow. Regarding oral or anal intercourse, the CDC stated in 2009, studies indicate that oral sex is commonly practiced by sexually active male and female and same-gender couples of various ages, including adolescents. Wow.
Well, I mean,
oral sex is significantly more common than anal sex.
I would assume.
Right. The 2010 NSSHB study reported that vaginal intercourse was practiced more than insertive anal intercourse among men, but that 13 to 15% of men aged 25 to 49 practice insertive anal intercourse. That many people? 13 to 15%? Damn.
Receptive anal intercourse is infrequent among men. I don't know what is that? With approximately 7% of men aged 14 to 94. Holy shit. Old guys, huh? Having said that they were a receptive, like they're taking it. Said they were a receptive partner during anal intercourse. The study said that fewer women reported engaging in anal sex than other partnered sexual behaviors. It is estimated that 10 to 14% of women aged 18 to 39 have practiced anal sex in the past 90 days.
Oh, shit.
And that most of the women who engage in anal sex said they practice it once a month or a few times a year on his birthday. Right?
This just seems like too much work. You got to get all kinds of lube.
Yeah, it's not.
And then it's a dirty job. And
Right.
I don't think I could. I don't even know if $1 million would put my tongue on an anus.
$1 million?
I don't know.
I mean, $1 million, dude.
A million.
I got a freaking tongue change.
It would have to be after she took a shower and then fill up a bathtub.
Or in the shower, at least.
Right, or fill up a bathtub and go soaking and not come in while underwater. And it tastes like nothing, right? Really? Hopefully. As long as you don't go...
Until that baby Ruth comes floating to the top.
Prevalence of sexual intercourse has been compared cross-culturally. 2003, Michael Bozen of the French Institute National des Demographics conducted a cross-cultural study titled, "At What Age Do Women and Men Have Their First Sexual Intercourse?" In the first group of contemporary cultures he studied, which included sub-Saharan Africa, listing Mali and Senegal and Ethiopia, he listed the data indicated that the age of men at sexual initiation in these societies is at later ages than that of women, but is often extramarital. The study considered the Indian subcontinent to also fall into this group, though data is only available from Nepal.
All right, and the second group, the data indicated families encouraged daughters to delay marriage and to abstain from sexual activity before that time. However, sons are encouraged to gain experience with older women or prostitutes before marriage. Age of the men at sexual initiation in these societies is at lower ages than that of women. This group includes South European and Latin cultures. Portugal, Greece, Romania are noted.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, and such from Latin America, Brazil, Chile, and the Dominican Republic. The study considered many Asian societies to also fall in this group, although matching data was only available from Thailand.
Of course it was. And the third group, age of men and women at sexual initiation, was more closely matched. There were two subgroups, however. In non-Latin and Catholic countries, Poland and Lithuania mentioned, age at sexual initiation was higher, suggesting later marriage and reciprocal valuing of male and female virginity. So they wanted to wait to marriage.
Right.
The same pattern of late marriage and reciprocal valuing of virginity was reflected in Singapore and Sri Lanka as well. The study considered China and Vietnam to also fall into this group, though data were not available.
So they're just like, we'll link them in here.
Right.
In Northern and Eastern European countries, age at sexual initiation was lower, with both men and women involved in sexual intercourse before any union formation. The study listed Switzerland, Germany, and the Czech Republic as members of this group. Concerning the United States, tabulations by the National Center for Health Statistics report that the age of first sexual intercourse was 17.1 years for both male and females in 2010. That makes sense. The CDC stated that 45.5% of girls and 45.7% of boys had engaged in sexual activity by age 19 in 2002. In 2011, reported in the research from 2006 to 10, they stated that 43% of American unmarried teenage girls and 42% of boys have ever engaged in sexual intercourse. So it went down.
Damn. That's a lot.
I wonder what the status these days, though,
Like
with all these
80%.
thoughts all over the place.
Ridiculous, man. CD also reports that American girls will most likely lose their virginity to a boy who is 1 to 3 years older. Between 1988 and 2002, the percentage of people in the United States who had sexual intercourse between the ages of 15 and 19 fell from 60 to 46%. For never married males, and from 51 to 46% for those same females.
Really?
Wow. Vaginal intercourse for the first time increases vaginal immune activity. Okay. Thanks for that pointless little sentence.
All right, and moving on to the benefits of sex. Ooh. There's one paragraph. It feels good.
Right.
In humans, sexual intercourse and sexual activity in general have been reported as having health benefits as varied as increased immunity by increasing the body's production of antibodies and subsequent lower blood pressure, and decreased risk of prostate cancer. Really. Sexual intimacy and orgasms increase the levels of hormone oxytocin, which is also known as the love hormone, which can help people bond and build trust. Oxytocin is believed to have more of a significant impact on women than on men, which may be why women associate sexual attraction or sexual activity with romance and love more than men do. A long-term study of 3,500 people between ages 18 and 102, damn, what the hell are they doing with 102? By clinical neurophysiologist, psychologist David Weeks indicated that, based on impartial ratings of the subject's photographs, sex on a regular basis is associated with people looking significantly chronologically younger. However, this does not imply casuality.
Right.
Casuality?
No casual sex. You gotta have sex all the time.
Well, no, they're saying like it does, like casual sex is usually, it doesn't matter what the person looks like more times than not. They're just banging. But apparently it's more for people that regular basis, it the way they look, I guess, means more.
Yeah.
All right. I guess one night stands can be a bitch.
Could be. Oh, let's take a look at the old risk.
Yeah.
You can get sexually transmitted diseases, which are bacteria, viruses, or parasites that are spread by sexual contact, especially vaginal, anal, or oral, or unprotected sex. Oral sex is less risky than vaginal or anal. Many times, STIs initially do not cause symptoms, increasing the risk of unknowing passing infection onto the sex partner or others. It's like a chain letter. If you don't pass this on, bad luck will happen.
Well, in this case, if you do pass it on.
There are 19 million new cases of sexually transmitted infections every year in the United States. And in 2005, the WHO estimated that 448 million people aged 15 to 49 were infected per year with curable STIs such as syphilis, gonorrhea, and chlamydia.
Ew. Some STIs can cause a genital ulcer. Even if they do not, they increase the risk of both acquiring and passing on HIV up to tenfold. Ooh. Hepatitis B can also be transmitted through sexual contact. Globally, there are about 257 million chronic carriers of hepatitis B.
Yeah.
HIV is one of the world's leading infectious killers. 2010, approximately 30 million people were estimated to have died because of AIDS. Yeah, not HIV, AIDS.
Right.
Wait, what's worse?
AIDS. You can have HIV.
Well, you can have AIDS nowadays, too, though. It's treated. Since the beginning of the epidemic.
Right.
Of the 2.7 million new HIV infections estimated to occur worldwide in 2010, 1.9 million were in Africa alone, dude. That's crazy. 70%. The World Health Organization also stated that the estimated 1.2 million Africans who died of HIV-related illnesses in 2010, that's only in 2010, comprised 69% of the global total of 1.8 million deaths attributable to the epidemic. It is diagnosed by blood tests, and while no cure has been found, it can be controlled by management through antiretroviral drugs for the disease, and patients can enjoy healthy and productive lives. There's been this new thing.
Right.
I've seen commercials. Like, you can actually bang people that don't have it.
Right.
And not give it to them.
Right.
Like, it's weird.
I've seen that too, and I was like,
Supposedly.
Right. In cases where infections were suspected, early medical intervention is highly beneficial in all cases. The CDC stated the risk of HIV transmission from an infected partner through oral sex is much less than the risk of HIV transmission from anal or vaginal. They say you got to drink like a whole bathtub full of their saliva to get it.
Well, I don't know about that,
but that measuring the exact risk of HIV transmission as a result of oral sex is very difficult. And that this is because most sexually active individuals practice oral sex in addition to other forms of sex, such as vaginal or anal. When transmission occurs, it is difficult to determine whether it occurred as a result of oral sex or more risky sexual activities.
More risky business.
Right. They also added that several cofactors may increase the risk of HIV transmission through oral sex. This includes ulcers, bleeding gums, genital sores, and the presence of other STIs. Just a whole just nasty. Ew.
Right. Well, yeah. 2005, the World Health Organization estimated that 123 million women became pregnant worldwide each year, and around 87 million of those, or 70.7%, are unintentional. Wow. Approximately 46 million pregnancies per year reportedly end in induced abortion. Wow. Yeah. Approximately 6 million U.S. women become pregnant per year. Out of known pregnancies, 2/3 result in live births and roughly 25% in abortions. The remainder end in miscarriage. That math doesn't add up.
Right.
2/3 and then 25%? What? And then the others, what? Okay, however, many more women become pregnant and miscarry without even realizing it, instead mistaking the miscarriage for an unusually heavy menstruation. The U.S. teenage pregnancy rate fell by 27% between 1990 and 2000, from 116.3 pregnancies per 1,000 girls from 15 to 19 to only 84.5. Really?
Huh.
Interesting.
This data includes live births, abortions, and fetal losses. Almost 1 million American teenage women, 10% of all women aged 15 to 19, 19% of those who report having had intercourse become pregnant each year. 19% of those.
10% of all women aged 15 to 19, and 19% of that 10% report having had intercourse become pregnant each year. Weird.
Sexual activity can increase the expression of a gene transcription factor called delta phos B. This is in the brain's reward center. Oh, the brain's got a reward center?
Yes.
Consequently, excessively frequent engagement in sexual activity on a regular daily basis can lead to the overexpression of this delta phos B, inducing an addiction to sexual activity. You need it. Sexual addiction or hypersexuality is often considered an impulse control disorder or a behavioral addiction.
has been linked to atypical levels of dopamine and a neurotransmitter. This behavior is characterized by a fixation on sexual intercourse and disinhibition. It was proposed that this addictive behavior be classified in DSM-5 as an impulsive-compulsive behavior disorder. Addiction to sexual intercourse is thought to be genetically linked. Really. Those having an addiction to sexual intercourse have a higher response to visual sexual cues in the brain. Those seeking treatment will typically see a physician for pharmacological management and therapy. One form of hypersexuality is Klein-Levin syndrome. It is manifested by hypersomnia and hypersexuality and remains relatively rare.
Okay.
And that is... Okay, just hypersexuality, apparently.
Sexual activity can directly cause death. Whoa. Particularly due to coronary circulation complications, which sometimes called coital death, coital sudden death, or coital coronary, which freaking had a heart attack. However, coital deaths are significantly rare. People, especially those who get little or no physical exercise, have a slightly increased risk of triggering a heart attack or sudden cardiac death when they engage in sexual intercourse or any vigorous physical exercise, such as shoveling your sidewalk or running up and down stairs. And regular exercise reduces but does not eliminate the increased risk.
Okay, well, sexual intercourse when involving a male participant often ends when the male has ejaculated,
Right.
And thus the partner might not have time to reach orgasm. In addition, premature ejaculation is common, and women often require a substantially longer duration of stimulation with a sexual partner than men do before orgasm. Scholars state that many couples are locked into the idea that orgasm should be achieved only through intercourse, that the word foreplay suggests that any other form of sexual stimulation is merely preparation for the main event, and that because women reach orgasm through intercourse less consistently than men, they are likelier than men to fake an orgasm to satisfy their sexual partners.
Oh, that sucks.
Right.
Wow. 1991, scholars from the Kinsey Institute stated, the truth is that the time between penetration and ejaculation varies not only from man to man, but from one time to the next for the same man.
Depending on what you've done that day.
Right. They added that the appropriate length for sexual intercourse is the length of time it takes for both partners to be mutually satisfied.
No shit.
Oh, shit. Emphasizing this, Kinsey found that 75% of men ejaculated within 2 minutes of penetration. Damn. 75%? But he didn't ask if the men or their partners considered 2 minutes mutually satisfying. And that more recent research reports slightly longer times for intercourse. 3 to 5.
Well, all you gotta do is read that next one, pal.
2008 survey of Canadian and American sex therapists stated that the average time for heterosexual intercourse was 7 minutes, and 1 to 2 minutes was too short, and 3 to 7 minutes was adequate, and 7 to 13 minutes desirable, and while 10 to 30 minutes was just too long.
They ain't lying. Let's be banging for an hour.
All right.
So stupid.
Dumb.
Anorgasmia is regular difficulty reaching orgasm for ample sexual stimulation causing personal distress. This is significantly more common in women than in men, which has been attributed to the lack of sex education with regard to women's bodies, especially in sex-negative cultures, such as clitoral stimulation usually being key for women to orgasm. The physical structure of coitus favors penile stimulation over clitoral stimulation. The location of the clitoris then usually necessitates manual or oral stimulation in order for the woman to achieve orgasm.
Wow. Okay. Approximately 25% of all women report difficulties with orgasm. 10% of women have never had one.
That's great.
40 to 50% have either complained about sexual dissatisfaction or experienced difficulty becoming sexually aroused at some point in their lives. Vaginismus is involuntary tensing of the pelvic floor musculature, making sex or any form of penetration of the vagina distressing, painful, and sometimes impossible for women. Not tonight, honey. It's not going to happen.
I have vaginismus.
Vaginitis. What? Is that a gum disease? It is a condition reflex of the pubococcygeus muscle and is sometimes referred to the PC muscle. Vaginismus can be hard to overcome because if a woman expects to experience pain during sexual intercourse, this can cause a muscle spasm, which results in painful sexual intercourse.
It might feel good for the guy, though, right? Treatment of vaginismus often...
Dry pussy?
Well,
wow.
if she's like muscle spasms though on your penis.
If it's wet.
Clenching her vajayjay. Treatment of vaginismus often includes both psychological and behavioral techniques, including the use of vaginal dilators. Damn, so they're saying just put something in there and pretty much massage the muscles inside there. Huh? Additionally, the use of Botox as a medical treatment for vaginismus has been tested and administered.
Oh, jeez.
Painful or uncomfortable sexual intercourse may also be categorized as dyspareunia. Approximately 40% of males reportedly have some form of erectile dysfunction or impotence, at least occasionally. I mean, it's called whiskey dick.
Right, whiskey dick.
Premature ejaculation has been
cocaine dick.
Right. Premature ejaculation has been reported to be more common than erectile dysfunction, although some estimates suggest otherwise. Due to various meanings of the disorder, estimates for the prevalence of premature ejaculation vary significantly more than for erectile dysfunction.
All right. Basically, they're saying God has said, hey, man, you're supposed to just get it done and out.
All right. Get in, get out, and get a sandwich. That's what they say.
Mm-hmm. For example, the Mayo Clinic states, estimates vary, though, but as many as 1 out of 3 men may be affected by premature ejaculation at some time. Further, Masters and Johnson speculated... Damn. Masters and Johnson speculated that premature ejaculation is the most common sexual dysfunction, even though more men seek therapy for erectile difficulties. Right, they don't care if they come early, they just want to get the dick out.
Right.
And that is because although an estimated 15 to 20% of men experience difficulty controlling rapid ejaculation, most do not consider it a problem requiring help. And many,
they don't give a shit.
And many women have difficulty expressing their sexual needs.
Right.
You're like, was that good? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Did you come? Yeah. What? Twice. And bitch, I was in there for 30 seconds. Is there such thing as premature ejaculation for women? Right? Is that a thing? Probably not. The American Urological Association estimates that premature ejaculation could affect 21% of the men in the United States. For those whose impotence is caused by medical conditions, prescription drugs such as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra are available. However, doctors caution against the unnecessary use of these drugs because they are accompanied by serious risks such as increased chance of heart attack.
It's called impotence anyway.
Impotence. The selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, an antidepressant drug, duloxetine, has been used to treat premature ejaculation. In clinical, plus they have all that stuff nowadays that they have like numbing condoms and like numbing fucking all that shit, dude.
All that is
like what is it called?
Numb your teeth, numb it.
What the hell is it called?
Numb it. Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, but it's the Novocaine. Yeah. The selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor and antidepressant drug. Yeah, we know that. In clinical trials, those with PE, what is that? Premature ejaculation, who took dapaxetine experienced sexual intercourse 3 or 4 times longer before orgasm than without the drug. Now, if they were lasting a minute, I guess 4 minutes. You really got it up there, huh? Mm-hmm. Another ejaculation-related disorder is delayed ejaculation. I just can't get it, dude. What's more frustrating, getting it way early or not getting it at all?
Ooh.
Which can be caused as an unwanted side effect of antidepressant medication such as anything. However, all SSRIs have ejaculation delaying effects, and fluvoxamine has the least ejaculation delaying effects.
Okay. Sexual intercourse remains possible after major medical treatment of the reproductive organs and structures. This is especially true for women.
You ever seen a chick give birth and she's literally giving birth again 9 months later?
Right, it's crazy. Even after extensive gynecological surgical procedures such as hysterectomy, oophorectomy, salpingectomy, dilation and carotid.
I got the oophorectomy. Hymenotomy. That's taking your hymen out or something?
The Bartholin gland surgery, abscess removal, vestibulectomy, the labia minora reduction, the cervical condensation, surgical and radiological cancer treatment, radiological cancer treatments, and chemotherapy. Jeez. Sex can continue, though.
Okay.
Reconstructive surgery remains an option for women who have experienced benign and malignant conditions.
All right. Moves us to the section called disabilities and other complications and others. Obstacles that those with disabilities face with regard to engaging in sexual intercourse include pain, depression, fatigue, negative body image, stiffness, functional impairment, anxiety, reduced libido, hormonal imbalance, and drug treatment or side effects.
Okay.
Sexual functioning has been regularly identified as a neglected area of the quality of life in patients with rheumatoid arthritis. For those that must take opioids for pain control, sexual intercourse can become more difficult. Having a stroke can also largely impact the ability to engage in sexual intercourse. Yeah, because you're just laying there and they're like, I'm having a stroke.
Right.
I'm having a stroke.
Although disability-related pain, including as a result of cancer and mobility impairment, can hamper
You can still get hammered, baby.
can hamper sexual intercourse. In many cases, the most significant impediments to sexual intercourse for individuals with a disability are psychological. Well, I don't think I can do
I
this.
can't wait to translate this one on YouTube.
In particular, people who have disability can find sexual intercourse daunting due to issues involving their self-concept as sexual being, or a partner's discomfort or perceived discomfort. Temporary difficulties can arise with alcohol and sex together. Sometimes they don't mix, sometimes they do.
Right.
As alcohol can initially increase interest through disinhibition, but decrease capacity with greater intake. However, disinhibition can vary depending on the culture.
Okay. People with
How
mental
much alcohol can you handle before your dick says no?
People with mental disabilities are also subject to challenges in participating in sexual intercourse. Women with intellectual disabilities are often presented with situations that prevent sexual intercourse. Citation needed. This can include the lack of knowledgeable healthcare provider trained and experienced in counseling those with ID on sexual intercourse. Those with ID may have hesitations regarding the discussion of the topic of sex, a lack of sexual knowledge, and limited opportunities for sex education. In addition, there are other barriers such as a higher prevalence of sexual abuse and assault.
Yeah.
These crimes often remain underreported.
Of course they do.
Until 20 years later and you decided to run for office.
There remains a lack of dialogue around this population's human right to consensual sexual expression and under-treatment of menstrual disorders and legal and systematic barriers. Women with ID may lack sexual health care and sex education. They may not recognize sexual abuse. Consensual sexual intercourse is not always an option for some. Saying nobody wants to do it, for somebody have to force it on somebody. Those with ID may have limited knowledge and access to contraception, screening for sexually transmitted infections, and cervical cancer. Okay. Man, I would hate to be a girl with ID.
Right. Well, moving on to the social effects of sex. First, for adults, sexual intercourse may be for reproductive, relational, or recreational purposes. It often plays a role in human bonding, strong role. In many societies, it's normal for couples to have sexual intercourse while using some method of birth control, sharing pleasure and strengthening their emotional bond through sexual activity, even though they are deliberately avoiding a pregnancy. Duh. In humans and bonobos, what the hell is a bonobo? A bonobo is a chimp, pygmy chimp. In humans and pygmy chimps, the female undergoes relatively concealed ovulation so that male and female partners commonly do not know whether she is fertile at any given moment.
Right.
Right, like I said earlier.
Right.
The guy's not going to smell when you're on your period and shit. That'd be gross anyways.
One possible reason for this distinct biological feature may be formation of strong emotional bonds between sexual partners, important for social interactions, and, in the case of humans, long-term partnership rather than immediate sexual reproduction. Sexual dissatisfaction due to the lack of sexual intercourse is associated with increased risk of divorce and relationship dissolution, especially for men.
Right, that's why those men that 50 are going out and finding them bitch that's like 20.
Some research, however, indicates that general dissatisfaction with marriage for men results in their wives flirted with, erotically kissed, or became romantically or sexually involved with another man.
That's true too.
Infidelity.
Right, that's true too. If your wife was messing around, then all of a sudden you probably ain't going to be interested in her no more, right?
And that this is especially the case for men with a lower emotional and composite marital satisfaction.
No, let's call it any guy that has
Right.
worth anything. Your wife cheated on you, you're not going to be like, it's okay, honey.
Yeah, I don't think
Dumbasses.
so.
Or kissed or anything.
Right.
Other studies report that the lack of sexual intercourse does not significantly result in divorce, though it is commonly one of the various contributors to it. According to the 2010 National Survey of Sexual Health and Behavior, men whose most recent sexual encounter was with a relationship partner reported greater arousal, greater pleasure, fewer problems with erectile function, orgasm, and less pain during the event than men. What kind of guys are having pain?
Damn.
During the event than men whose last sexual encounter was with a non-relationship partner. So if you love her, pretty much.
Right.
For women, there's often a complaint about the lack of their spouse's sexual spontaneity. Decreased sexual activity among these women may be the result of their perceived failure to maintain ideal physical attractiveness, or because their sexual partner's health issues have hindered sexual intercourse.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Right.
Some women express that their most satisfying sexual experience entail being connected to someone, rather than solely basing satisfaction on orgasm. With regard to divorce, women are more likely to divorce their spouses for a one-night stand or various infidelities if they are in less cooperative or high-conflict marriages. Right?
Clearly.
Research
That's not true. How many bitches did we know growing up where we did?
Right.
Got cheated on constantly and still...
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Research additionally indicates that non-married couples who are cohabiting engage in sexual intercourse more often than married couples and are more likely to participate in sexual activity outside of their sexual relationships. This may be due to the honeymoon effect, the newness or novelty of sexual intercourse with the partner.
Right. Obviously, if you just started out dating, you're going to bang a lot more than somebody that's been married for 20 years.
Right. Since sexual intercourse is usually practiced less the longer a couple is married, with couples engaged in sexual intercourse or other sexual activity once or twice a week, or approximately 6 to 7 times a month. Sexuality in older age also affects the frequency of sexual intercourse, as older people generally engage in sexual intercourse less frequently than younger people do.
Wow, thank you for the obviousness. Now moving on to adolescence for some reason.
Whoa.
I hate when they say adolescents. Just say teenagers, okay? Teenagers commonly use sexual intercourse for relational and recreational purposes, which may negatively or positively impact their lives.
No shit. Wow.
For example, while teenage pregnancy may be welcomed in some cultures, it is also commonly disparaged, and research suggests that the earlier onset of puberty for children puts pressure on children and teenagers to act like adults before they are emotionally or cognitively ready.
No, you just got to be raised right.
Well, right. But still, who knows what the hell's going on in schools with other kids.
Ridiculous.
I mean, just think when we were 12, 13. Right. Some studies have concluded that engaging in sexual intercourse leaves adolescents, especially girls, with higher levels of stress and depression, and that girls may be likelier to engage in sexual risks, such as intercourse without the use of a condom. But it may be that further research is needed in these areas.
Obviously, I think that's the case, or not at all. How about you don't research it one bit?
Right.
Some countries, such as the United States, sex education and abstinence-only sex education. You piece of cunt. In some countries, such as the United States, sex education and abstinence-only sex education curricula are available to educate adolescents about sexual activity. I think we had health class that wasn't called sex ed though.
We had health class, but I don't remember ever specifically explicitly talking about penises going in vaginas and shit like that, or having to put on a condom on a banana or some shit like that. Never ever happened. No.
Right. These programs are sometimes controversial, as debate exists as to whether teaching children and adolescents about sexual intercourse or other sexual activities should be left only to the parents or their caregivers.
Sometimes it's awkward for the parents. Let the teacher do it, right? That's how some people might feel.
Some studies from the 1970s through the 1990s suggested an association between self-esteem and sexual intercourse among adolescents, while other studies from the 1980s and 1990s reported that research generally indicates little to no relationship between self-esteem and sexual activity among adults. Which one is it? Like, no, not so.
I would say the self-esteem one is probably more accurate. By the 90s, the evidence mostly supported... I mean, watch freaking any like coming-of-age comedy with teenagers or American Pie or Wonder Years. All the self-esteem and confidence issues. I mean, come on.
All that freaking hormones just boiling up.
By the 90s, the evidence mostly supported the latter. What? And further research has supported little or no relationship between the self-esteem and sexual activity among adolescents. Okay. Scholar Lisa Arai stated the idea that early sexual activity in pregnancy is linked to low self-esteem. Oh, they're saying that people with lower self-esteem are the ones that are more commonly to bang.
Oh, no.
Instead of the people that have high self-esteem. Because I think too highly of myself to lower to that.
I guess.
I mean, it is true.
Right.
People with lower self-esteem usually just become whores.
Pretty much. Yeah,
She says the idea that early sexual activity in pregnancy is linked to low self-esteem became fashionable in the latter half of the 20th century, particularly in the U.S., adding that yet in a systematic review of the relationship between self-esteem and teenager sexual behaviors, attitudes, and intentions, which analyzed findings from 38 publications, 62% of behavioral findings and 72% of attitudinal findings exhibited no statistically significant associations.
Okay.
All right.
Whatever. Studies that do find a link suggest that non-virgin boys have higher self-esteem than virgin boys, and that girls...
A little virgin boy.
You little virgin boy. Look at you, little virgin boy. And that girls who have low self-esteem and poor self-image are more prone to behaviors.
Or
Risk-taking behaviors, such as unprotected sex and multiple sexual partners. Psychiatrist Lynn Ponton wrote, all adolescents have sex lives, which they are sexually active with others, with themselves, or seemingly not at all.
Wow, who pays this fucking Lynn Ponton?
Right. And that viewing adolescent sexuality as a potentially positive experience rather than as something inherently dangerous may help young people develop healthier patterns and make more positive choices regarding sexual activity. I don't think everybody knows. They're going to do it whether they want to do it or not.
Right. Researchers state that long-term romantic relationships allow adolescents to gain the skills necessary for highest quality... No shit. Relationships later in life. Overall, positive romantic relationships among adolescents can result in long-term benefits. Some high-quality romantic relationships. High-quality romantic relationships are associated with higher commitment in early adulthood and are positively associated with social competence.
Okay.
I would say yes. Obviously, you have a high-quality romantic relationship. It's probably going to set you up when you're an adolescent or whatever. It's probably going to set you up pretty good down the line, instead of being one that's like in these relationships that are you're arguing all the time, or you guys are just piece of ships cheating on each other all the time. That's probably going to affect you more than a high-quality romantic relationship.
You're going to become a drama queen.
Right. Well,
always.
Or a whore.
Right.
Or dude whore.
Right.
Or a piece of shit.
We got a little painting over that pot right there. A bunch of people getting blowjobs.
Well, they're doing all sorts of things.
Oh, my.
One's getting nailed from behind while he's eating somebody out on top of her while she's giving the dude head. Holy shit. Greeks got down, dude.
He ain't getting... Wow.
They did, too. They like to bang... Dudes like to bang each other in the old Greek...
man. You ever seen the movie Caligula?
Caligula?
Oh,
no,
my.
that's not Greek, though, but okay.
Same thing, Roman.
Mm.
Not the same. Well, sexual intercourse is the natural mode of reproduction for human species. Humans have intricate morale and ethical guidelines which regulate the practice of sexual intercourse and vary according to religious and governmental laws. Some governments and religions also have strict designations of what they consider appropriate and inappropriate sexual behavior, which include restrictions on the types of sex acts which are permissible. A historically prohibited or a regulated sex act is anal.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Anal sex, I don't even know if that's legal.
It's called, what's it called?
Sodomy.
Yeah, sodomy. No, it's not. Actually.
Well, it is. But is it?
Sodomy? No, it's illegal.
Some places. If you rape somebody and sodomize them, then that will lengthen your sentence for sure. Right. But I don't think it's legal. Or we're about to see that right here. But it's legal for consenting, I would assume, right? You can't tell somebody they can't bang butts. Which moves us to the sexual offenses part of this page. Sexual intercourse with a person against their will or without their consent is rape.
I'd say so.
But may be also called sexual assault. It is considered a serious crime in most countries. More than 90% of rape victims are female. Yeah, don't get raped in like the Middle East. They'll cut your head off.
Right.
Females.
Right. Yeah.
99% of rapists are male, and only about 5% of rapists are strangers to the victims.
Wow.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, you're more likely to get raped by somebody you know.
Wow.
And that's false too, because how many guys don't report rape?
Right.
First of all,
I mean, I don't think a guy's ever getting raped.
Right. Well, that's not true. Guys get raped. Maybe some big Bertha bitch that's gonna pin you down and force you to. You're gonna get hard, right?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean,
start sucking on it or jacking him. I mean, you're a guy. I think it's going to happen eventually.
Maybe.
I'm sure it happens. Wow. Most countries have an age of consent law, which set the minimum legal age with whom an older person may engage in sexual intercourse, usually set at 16 to 18, but ranges from 12 to 20.
Does.
In some societies, an age of consent is set by non-statutory custom or tradition. Sex with a person under the age of consent, regardless of their stated consent, is often considered sexual assault or statutory rape, depending on differences in ages of the participants.
All right.
So yeah, like you're 18 doing 18 and 15, is that?
They do it, yeah. That's statutory rape.
Is it, though? Yep. If they're dating and the parents are okay with it?
Nope. If the parents are not okay with it.
I'm saying, but if the parents are okay with it?
No, you won't get charged.
Maybe.
The parents have to.
Maybe.
The parents have to complain.
Sign off on it or something? I don't know. It's weird. Some countries treat any sex with a person of diminished or insufficient mental capacity to give consent, regardless of age, as rape.
The first time you get your period is you're ready to go out in the real world, lady.
She's ready to bring some. She's ready to reproduce.
Oh no, Robert Francoeur. What? Wow.
He states that standing in your window.
That's my sexual intercourse.
I don't think it's illegal, but
the window watcher. Wow. Robert Francoeur stated that prior to 1970s, rape definitions of sex often included only penile and vaginal sexual intercourse. So if you're getting raped in prison by little Tim, Tiny Tim, then they don't count. Authors Pamela J. Kaffleach and Michael J. Cody stated that this made it so that if sex means penile vaginal intercourse, then rape means forced penile vaginal intercourse and other sexual behaviors, such as fondling a person's genitals without her consent, forced oral sex, and same-sex coercion. They are not considered rape.
How do you force a girl to have oral sex with you?
Right.
She can just bite your dang off. Why would you do that? That's not even something that. Why would you risk that?
And they also stated that although some other forms of forced sexual contact are included within the legal category of sodomy, which is anal penetration and oral genital contact, many unwanted sexual contacts have no legal grounding as rape in some states. No shit.
Sexual assault, though, right? Ken Plummer argued, Ken Plummer, he argued that the legal meaning of rape in most countries is unlawful sexual intercourse, which means the penis must penetrate the vagina. And that other forms of sexual violence towards women, such as forced oral sex or anal intercourse, or the insertion of other objects into the vagina, constitute the less serious quote-unquote crime of sexual assault.
You're violating somebody's personal space.
That's sexual assault, though.
That's a human assault, then, or it's assault.
Well, sexual in nature, though. What are you punching? What if you punch somebody's vagina? Is that sexual assault or just assault?
It's domestic violence.
Over time, the meaning of rape broadened in some parts of the world to include many types of sexual penetration, including anal, fellatio, cunnilingus, and penetration of the genitals or rectum by an inanimate object. Until 2012, the FBI still considered rape a crime solely committed by men against women. Wow. Really?
Well, 2012, they changed the meaning from the carnal knowledge of a female forcibly against her will to the penetration, no matter how slight, of the vagina or anus with any body part or object, or oral penetration by a sex organ of any other person without the consent of the victim. So anything. So
right.
You're in jail and you drop the soap and you get a little poker up the ass. Whoa! I don't like that.
I don't know why your mind immediately goes to that, but
well, that's what they're talking about.
No, they're talking about even forcibly fingering somebody as rape.
Right, but they didn't consider people in prison as rape.
Of course they did.
No.
Yes, you got raped and you got banged in the butt.
Right. No, they didn't start. You seen it in 2012. There's now.
Well, that's the FBI. Fuck the FBI. First of all.
Right. The meaning does not change federal or state criminal codes or impact charging and prosecution on the federal, state, or local level, but instead assures that rape will be more accurately reported nationwide. In some instances, penetration is not required for the act to be categorized as rape.
Well, in most societies around the world, the concept of incest exists and is criminalized. Yeah. James Rafi, a senior lecturer in criminology at Monash University, addressed potential harm associated with familial sexual activities such as result in children born with deficiencies.
Right.
However, the law is more concerned with protecting the rights of people who are potentially subjected to such abuse.
Right.
This is why, I'd like to see the stats of how much rape between relatives.
Oh, dude.
This is why familial sexual relationships are criminalized, even if all parties are consensual. Kentucky, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Alabama. There are laws prohibiting all kinds of sexual activities between relatives, not necessarily penetrative sex.
All right, anything.
These laws refer to grandparents, parents, children, siblings, aunts, and uncles. There are differences between states in terms of the severity of punishments and what they consider to be a relative, including biological parents, step-parents, adoptive parents, and half-siblings. Right.
A half-sibling? Half-sibling still got blood.
Right.
Step-parents, adoptive parents, I guess that's okay.
No blood, right?
Like third cousins, there's a little bit of blood.
Step-brother.
Like third cousins, I think is all right. Right?
Well, I don't know. Ask the royal family.
No, it's not all right.
Well, I don't know. Ask Adam and Eve.
Why?
What do you mean?
They didn't do third cousins.
Cain
They
literally...
did each other.
Yeah, Cain literally married his sister.
They had to back then. That's because the bodies were pure. Their souls were pure and the blood was pure back then. God had to make it that way. You got to. And then after all that,
And now it's against the Bible, but back then God's like, hey, bang your sister all you want, bang your niece, bang your nephews,
No,
bang your freaking cousins,
Yeah.
do everything that you can.
no, it's explained in the Bible.
Is it?
Yes.
That's why I looked it up the other day out of curiosity, and nobody explains it.
Yes, it does.
They don't even know who Cain was actually married to be honest
They
with you,
don't.
but they just say maybe it was his sister.
They don't.
Because the Bible never even mentions that Adam and Eve had daughters
I don't think they did.
until later on. But they in between Cain and Abel, it was 120 years before
of course they had more.
before Adam
More kids.
and Eve had Seth.
Right.
So there's a 120-year gap, which obviously they had to have had more children, but
Right.
the Bible doesn't say so.
Right. No, it tells you in there that reproduction was pure. It was a pure thing, which meant it had to be done until a certain time where it wasn't right. It's weird, dude.
Well, the first baby that came out with a a crooked eye or something, like God was like, all right, we got to stop this.
I mean, you got to do something. Yeah,
just
that's
weird.
the weirdest thing to try to
just
figure
weird.
out. But
It's just weird.
it's right.
Especially since when Cain killed Abel, he complained that that's why God put the mark on him, so that other people wouldn't seek revenge on him. So how many people were already there when Cain killed Abel?
Right. A lot.
Probably thousands. How? Well, it doesn't add up to me, but it's another topic for another day. Maybe we'll get on that on another Wikipedia page. But another sexual matter concerning consent is zoophilia, which is paraphilia involving sexual activity between human and non-human animals, or a fixation on such practice.
Yeah, that's zoophilia. Oh.
Bestiality, human sexual
Bestiality.
activity with non-human animals is not outlawed in some jurisdictions,
Definitely
but it is
not.
illegal in others under animal abuse laws or laws dealing with crimes against nature. Wasn't there just a story
There's a sheep fucker in
not too long ago? There was this
like Pakistan or something.
there's this group of dudes in like Washington or Oregon or something. They would sneak into this farmer's barn and film the horse banging them, and then one day the dude snuck in there, and they all were like there would like be a party with like 15 of them, and they were filming it, and the horse penetrated him and like literally ripped his inside
Oh no!
and killed him,
I'm sure.
and then everybody got like charged and shit. Like yeah,
Dude, a horse's cock is the size of a freaking arm. All right, moving on. Marriage and relationships of sexual intercourse. Sexual intercourse has traditionally been considered an essential part of a marriage. Many religious customs requiring consummation of the marriage and citing marriage as the most appropriate union for sexual reproduction, which is called procreation. In such cases, a failure for any reason to consummate the marriage would be considered a ground for annulment, and which does not require a divorce process because you got like so long.
and it'll be wiped from the record
Right.
completely.
Never happened. Sexual relations between marriage partners have been a marital right in various societies and religions, both historically and in modern times, especially with regard to a husband's rights to his wife.
Yeah, we're married. I bang you anytime I want.
Until the late 20th century, there was usually a marital exemption in rape laws, which precluded a husband from being prosecuted under the rape law for forced sex with his wife. I mean, I don't think you can rape your wife,
No. Why would you? I mean, I guess.
even if she says no. You can just get charged for slapping.
Right. Well, I don't know because
Domestic
they have the width. They had the width law. No strap that you beat your wife with could be
Right.
wider than your hand.
Yep.
Or whatever it's called.
Or 2 fingers.
Yeah, something like that. Author Ashi Sanya Laya Ashiko Kumbo stated, as the legal status of women has changed, the concept of a married man's or woman's marital right to sexual intercourse has become less widely held. Adultery, which you had sex outside of the marriage, has been and remains a criminal offense in some jurisdictions.
Yep.
Sexual intercourse between unmarried partners and cohabitation of an unmarried couple are also illegal in some jurisdictions. Wow. Conversely, in other countries, marriage is not required socially or legally in order to have sexual intercourse or to procreate. For example, the majority of births are outside of marriage in countries such as Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Bulgaria, Estonia, Slovenia, France, Belgium, everywhere.
No shit. With regard to divorce laws, the refusal...
Estonia and like Estonia, isn't that like a monarch? I don't think they would allow that.
What are you going to do, right?
Yeah, whatever.
With regard to divorce laws, the refusal to engage in sexual intercourse with one spouse may give rise to a grounds for divorce, which may be listed under grounds of abandonment.
Yeah, she abandoned me.
It's true. And also, if you do go outside the marriage, that also takes away all, like...
alimony and
all that shit, yeah. Concerning no-fault divorce jurisdictions, author James Dwyer, he stated that no-fault divorce laws have made it much easier for a woman to exit a marital relationship. Huh?
Insurance? No-fault insurance?
Right.
So stupid.
Right. It made it much easier for women to exit a marital relationship, and wives have obtained greater control over their bodies while in a marriage. Because of legislative and judicial changes regarding the concept of a marital exemption when a man rapes his wife.
Well, right. It's crazy to me that a judge can deny your divorce.
They can.
Yeah, which is stupid.
Right.
Hey, how about I don't want to be with this person no more?
I mean, as long as you do it legally. I mean, not legally, but spiritually.
Divorce him spiritually?
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
Legally means that's not nothing.
Right, but you can't get married again.
You can get married in
She's still entitled to all your stuff. You're entitled to all her stuff. Still married, technically.
You can get married in a church without going to the courthouse and getting your marriage license and be married under God's eyes, but just not
not legally.
Not legally. But the Bible also says follow man's laws. So,
well, I think that the Bible spoke a little too soon on that when the laws start saying you have to respect people's pronouns.
Well, it says follow man's laws that follow Jesus's laws.
Well, not many of those.
Not that many of those left, I guess, right here.
Right.
The rape thing.
There are various legal... How many times did chicks get raped in the Bible? I mean, not in the Bible, but Bible times. I'm sure it happened all the time. There are various legal positions regarding the meaning and legality of sexual intercourse between persons of the same sex or gender. Oh, we're getting to the gay stuff. All right. For example, in the 2003 New Hampshire Supreme Court case, Blanchflower versus Blanchflower, it was held that female same-sex relations, sexual relations, and same-sex sexual practices in general did not constitute sexual intercourse, based on Webster's Third New International Dictionary definition,
Right.
which they say intercourse has to be
a man and a woman.
Right. Therefore, an accused wife in a divorce of that case was not found guilty of adultery. Oh, so if a wife went outside of a marriage and
the woman,
and yeah, so that's not adultery, I guess. Well, in their law, some countries consider same-sex sexual behavior an offense punishable by imprisonment or execution.
Oh.
In this case, for example, in Islamic countries, including LGBTQAAFS plus blue blah issues in Iran.
Oh wow!
Told you already earlier. They'll behead a woman for getting raped, dude, over there.
Opposition to same-sex.
I believe there was a case, Iran or Pakistan like this. This chick literally got gang raped on a bus by like 15 dudes, literally.
Right.
And she
got
either went to jail or they executed her, one of the two, but she definitely got punished.
She was unpure.
Right.
Never to be touched by another man again. What's the sense of living? Opposition to same-sex marriage is largely based on the belief that sexual intercourse and sexual orientation should be of a heterosexual nature. The recognition of such marriages is a civil rights, political, social, moral, and religious issue in many nations.
Many nations.
The conflicts arise over whether same-sex couples should be allowed to enter into marriage. Who cares? They should be required to use a different status, such as a civil union, which neither is granted equal rights as marriage or limited rights in comparison to marriage. Right. Well, they are granted equal rights. Okay, whatever. Or they are not to have any such rights at all. A related issue is whether the word marriage should be applied. Give the shit. Let them marry.
It's a fucking, first of all.
It's just a legal thing.
Right. And I believe this is our last section in this page, which is religious views. You can also see the page religion and sexuality if you want, but we're not. There are wide differences in religious views with regard to sexual intercourse in or outside of marriage. Most denominations of Christianity, including Catholicism, have strict views or rules on what sexual practices are and are not acceptable. Most Christian views on sexual intercourse are influenced by various interpretations of the Bible. Sexual intercourse outside of marriage, for example, is considered a sin in some churches. In such cases, sexual intercourse may be called a sacred covenant, holy or holy sacrament between husband and wife.
Historically, Christian teachings often promoted celibacy, although today usually own certain members, for example, religious leaders, certain of them, not all. Some of them groups take a vow of celibacy. That's usually the Catholics.
Right, priests.
They're forsaking both marriage.
Except for when it comes to little boys.
Right, forsaking both marriage and any type of sexual or romantic activity. Except for when it comes
to little boys.
Right. The Bible may be, and the nuns do that shit too.
To the little girls.
And sometimes.
Well, nuns are usually the ones that are with the girls.
Right. The Bible may be interpreted as endorsing penile vaginal penetration as the only form of acceptable sexual activity. Not maybe. It is interpreted. While others' interpretations view the Bible as not being clear on oral sex or other particular sexual behaviors, and that is the personal decision as to whether oral sex is acceptable within marriage. Yeah, they don't say anything.
You're married, you do whatever the hell you want.
They don't say anything about oral sex. But it also says in Leviticus, a man should not lay with a man as he does a woman.
Well,
it'll be a domination.
Well, abomination, not a domination. But,
abomination, yeah.
It'd be a domination. Well, that's true. One of them's getting dominated. Yeah, but this has nothing to do with gay stuff. So.
Right. Oh, yeah,
this is just between a man and a woman.
Right. Some sectors believe. Some sectors consider the use of birth control to prevent sexual reproduction a grave sin against God and marriage. I mean, the Bible does say.
Well, they shouldn't. It also says you shouldn't spill your seed. So
yeah, the Bible does say it's better for your seed to land inside a whore than it does on the floor.
He's like, I got bars, baby. God wasn't playing around, he's spitting.
Right. They also believe that the main purpose of marriage, or one of its primary purposes, is to produce children, while other sectors do not hold such beliefs. Like, what are you talking about?
I wouldn't say that's the main purpose of marriage. That's definitely the main purpose of man and woman, though.
Right. The Bible also prohibits sexual intercourse against during menstruation.
Yeah, you're not supposed to.
Why would you want to have sex when there's blood everywhere?
You're not supposed to bang on blood, dude. You're not supposed to bang on blood.
Nobody wants to do that.
No. People have, though. In the Roman Catholic Church, if a matrimonial celebration takes place, ratification, but the spouses have not yet engaged in intercourse, consummation, then the marriage is considered to be a marriage via ratum sed non-consummation.
No, it's not.
Matum.
It's not really a marriage yet.
Such a marriage, regardless of the reason for non-consummation, can be dissolved by the Pope.
Right.
Wait a minute, you guys been married for 2 years and she ain't give you the pussy yet?
Like, you guys didn't do it yet? I'm like, no. I'm like, oh, what the hell? Go ahead.
Well, he's like, do it right here. In the Church of Jesus, Church of Jesus. we had High Priest Cheddar. In the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, gross, sexual relations within the bonds of matrimony are seen as sacred, are they? Latter-day Saints consider sexual relations to be ordained of God for the creation of children and for the expression of love between husband and wives.
Right.
Members are discouraged from having any sexual relations before marriage and being unfaithful to their spouses after marriage.
They outlawed that. Now they're specifically a monogamous religion.
Well, so they say. You're barred from being unfaithful to their spouse after marriage, dude. So even if somebody dies, you can't remarry.
No,
nothing.
There's no divorces or anything.
Booty.
I mean, you can get a divorce, but what are you going to do?
Even in the Bible, all these religious figures, how many of them had more than one wife?
Most of them.
Yeah.
But that became outlawed at some point in time, or if ever.
That's why the phrase "to death do us part."
Right.
Once you're dead, you're dead.
Dead. Shakers believe.
What the hell's a shaker?
Shakers?
What the hell's a shaker?
I don't know.
Shakers are the United Society of Believers in Christ's second appearing. Well, they're called Shakers. Are they Quakers? They're not They're not Quakers. They're Shakers. They're shaking Quakers.
They're believers in Christ's second appearing. Okay.
Ecstatic behavior during worship services. They're probably like, the colonial Quaker people.
They shake. They like to shake.
Yeah, they're doing the weird things. Like, Jesus has come to me. Right. Snakes and shit.
Right. Shakers believe that sexual intercourse is the root of all sin, and that all people should therefore be celibate.
Well, no.
Including married couples.
So that's one way to not have your religion last. All your guys are going to die out, dude, and you have no more shakers.
The FLDS guy that's in prison right now, what's his name?
I don't know what the hell FLDS is.
The Latter-day Saints.
Oh, I don't know. Whatever. I didn't know there was one in jail.
Yeah, he's been in prison for years. What's his name?
I don't know.
Jeb something?
Jeb Stewart. Still running around the old Maryland looking for...
But anyway, yeah. Ever since he got arrested for having all those wives and underage
Oh,
sex,
that guy, yeah.
And he has disallowed sex in his whole community while he's in prison. And they're basically, you're not married to your wives anymore. And these people follow this shit. And he's in prison. But they do have the higher ups there. And what's his name?
Who cares?
Shakers believe their sexual intercourse... Yeah, and you got to be celibate, including to married couples. The original Shaker community that peaked at 6,000 full members in 1840 dwindled to 3 members by 2009. Damn, they made it to 3 members?
That's what I said. That's one way to not have your religion survive if you say you can't reproduce.
Damn, who would have 3 members in 2009? That's blue.
Modern day Shakers.
Died at 89.
Married sister for 89 and leaving only 2 remaining. Brother Arnold Hod at age 58 and sister June Carpenter. Oh, they're fucking before they're gone.
Brother Andrew.
In the spring,
the remaining Shakers, they hope that sincere newcomers will join them. That's not happening.
The current membership was given as Brother Arnold, Sister June, and Brother Andrew.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are done.
Fat chance with that, Shakers.
Judaism, a married Jewish man is required to provide his wife with sexual pleasure called ona, literally her time.
I'm going to get some of her time.
Which is one of the conditions he takes upon himself as part of the Jewish marriage contract. Is the ketubah that he gives her during the Jewish wedding ceremony. He gives her, I will have sex with you whenever on a certain day.
Or whenever you want it.
In Jewish views on marriage, sexual desire is not evil, but must be satisfied in the proper time, place, and manner.
Right, not in a bathroom stall. Right. Islam views sex within marriage as something pleasurable, a spiritual activity, and a duty.
Right. A duty.
In Shia Islam, men are allowed to enter into an unlimited number of temporary marriages, which are contracted to last for a period of minutes to multiple years. I want to get married to you for 2 minutes.
I want to get married. What are you doing for the next 10 minutes?
Minutes or years to permit sexual intercourse. Shia women are allowed to Shia. Mm-hmm. Shia women are allowed to enter only one marriage at a time, whether temporary or permanent. When the dude is married to like 5 other chicks, though, is she allowed to do some things with them?
With the chicks?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Maybe, if he says so, right? Hinduism has varied views about sexuality, but according to the Kama Sutra, sex is considered as a normal activity that is necessary for a fulfilling and happy life.
Okay.
Buddhist ethics, in its most general formulation, holds that one should neither be attached to nor crave sensual pleasure, since it binds one to the cycle of birth and death. Samsara, and prevents one attaining the goal of nirvana. Here we go now. Fuck my anus.
Yeah, Buddhists are weird, dude.
Since Buddhist monastics are to be fully dedicated towards this goal, they undertake the training rule of total abstinence from sexual intercourse, i.e. celibacy.
Yeah, Buddhists. Other monastic training rules for the code of discipline and Quranical Vinaya scriptures are to prevent masturbation, lustfully touching, and speaking to members of the other sex, and other forms of sexual behavior. Others. Buddhist people undertake the 5 precepts. The third is which is avoiding sexual misconduct. What is the first and second one?
Well, The first consists of a prohibition of killing both humans and all animals. Well, that's stupid. Collars haven't, well, not the human part. Second is precept prohibits theft and related activities such as fraud and forgery.
Okay.
The third is what we just said. The fourth precept involves falsehood spoken or committed to by action, as well as malicious speech and harsh speech and gossip.
Oh, damn.
The fifth prohibits intoxication through alcohol, drugs, or other means.
Whoa.
I don't like it.
That's stupid. That's just plain stupid.
I don't like it.
Who the hell want to do anything like that?
Right.
Jeez. Peter Harvey, good day, America, says that this precept relates primarily to the avoidance of causing suffering by one's sexual behavior. Adultery, going with the wife of another, is the most straightforward breach of this precept. The wrongness of this is seen as partly in terms of it being an expression of greed, and partly in terms of it harm to others. It does harm others. It is said that a man breaks the precept if he has intercourse with women who are engaged or who are still protected by any relative, or young girls not protected by a relative or at all. Clearly, and they rape and incest are breaches of that precept.
No shit. The Buddhist canonical scriptures contain no other regulations or recommendations for lay people. For example, with regards to homosexuality, masturbation, sexual practices, and contraceptives. However, in keeping with the Buddhist ethical principles of not harming and avoiding shame, guilt, and remorse, socially taboo forms of sexuality as well as obsessive sexual activities can also be seen as being included in the third precept.
Obviously.
Later Buddhist authors such as Nagarjuna give various clarifications and recommendations. Okay.
Zoology. Sex often means the process in which a male introduces sperm to the female's body. Right.
Copulation.
Especially directly into reproductive tract. Spiders have separate male and female sexes. Before mating and copulation, the male spider spins a small web and ejaculates onto it. He then stores the sperm in reservoirs on his large penises.
On his large dick.
Large pedipalps, from which he transfers sperm to the female's genitals.
Pedipalp. That's his fucking leg.
Right.
Wait. Second pair of appendages. Yeah, so he sticks them on. Oh, the little guys that usually sticking out that you see. Oh, that's cum filled, dude.
Holy fucking nut.
Spider nut. Spider nut. Spider nut.
Does whatever a spider nut does. After he has the spider nut on his paws, he transfers the sperm to the female's genitals.
He's like,
the female can store the sperm indefinitely.
oh, damn, whenever she feels like putting it in there.
Like, nah, not yet, but I'll keep it here.
Right. She's like, I'm not ready. I'm still a teenager. I still got a lot.
I got my whole career ahead of me.
Many animals that live in water use external fertilization, whereas internal fertilization may have developed from a need to maintain gametes. Many animals that live in water use external fertilization, whereas internal fertilization may have developed from a need to maintain gametes in a liquid medium in the late Ordovician epoch.
No.
Internal fertilization with many vertebrates, such as reptiles, some fish, and most birds, occur via cloacal copulation. Oh, dude, what the hell? I gotta see a bird asshole as soon as I do that? Dude, why is this dude holding open a freaking bird's ass?
That's where they lay the egg.
Oh, jeez. Stop. Get out of my mouth. Sorry, FBI handler. That was a weird one.
Yeah.
What the hell's a hemipenis? The chick's like, that thing,
Hemipenis.
that thing got a hemi? A hemipenis. All right. While mammals copulate vaginally, and many basal vertebrates or basal vertebrates reproduce sexually with external fertilization. For primitive insects, the male deposits spermatozoa on the substrate, sometimes stored with a special structure. Courtship involves inducing the female to take up the sperm package into her genital opening, but there is no actual copulation.
No.
And there's no
artificial insemination.
Pretty much, right.
In groups that have reproduction similar to spiders, such as dragonflies, males extrude sperm into secondary copulatory structures removed from their genital opening, which are then used to inseminate the female. In dragonflies, it is a set of modified sternites on the second abdominal segment. In advanced groups of insects, this is a structure formed from the terminal segments of the abdomen to deposit sperm directly through, sometimes in a capsule called a spermatophore. This is into the female's reproductive tract. bonobos, chimpanzees, and dolphins are species known to engage in heterosexual behaviors even when the female is not in estrus, which is a point in her reproductive cycle suitable for successful impregnation.
See that video the other day? They're at some zoo, and the dolphin was up close to the glass, and there was a dead fish, and the dolphin must have ripped the head off or something, and it went up to the glass. The fish was right there, and the dolphin's fucking dick just came out and started throat fucking the dead fish, dude, in front of everybody. Dolphins are sick, dude.
Nice.
They'll rape you.
Well, these species here are also known to engage in same-sex
Yeah, dolphins definitely do some gay shit.
So do chimpanzees.
Yeah, of course.
In these animals, the use of sexual intercourse has evolved beyond reproduction to apparently serve additional social functions, such as bonding.
Yeah, sick in my ass. I like you.
There was that one video of that monkey that was chasing the girl around. He was behind the glass. And every time she would stop, he'd run up to her and he'd grab his thing and go, and then she would like go and move to the other side. He'd run up to her and be like,
He's like, I wanna enter you. Jeez. Well, there you have it, guys.
that was stupidest article I ever read in my damn life.
That was sexual intercourse according to Wikipedia. Obviously 90% of that shit is clearly everybody knew and obvious bullshit, but entertaining nonetheless. With that, you know how we end this. What's going to be our next one? What is going to be our next topic? Wow, I'm liking these random stuff. How is it 2 times in a row? It's been like
I don't know what.
It's been like
Weird stuff.
Stuff that's relevant, though.
Is it?
Clearly. Categories. What are we going to do?
Categories. Player 1. Not ARF.
Oh, books.
What do we got for books?
Oh, no.
That's going to be a rough one. Boogity book book.
Boogity book.
Boogity book.
All right. We got 32 entries here. What's it going to be? Hopefully something that's actually can be readable.
And it will not be.
And we're going to cover The Hobbit.
Oh, no. You ever seen that movie?
Yes.
Is that, whoa!
The Hobbit book.
Wikipedia. Oh, no.
Well, it's a pretty damn long article, so it's not that long, but...
What the name? What kind of letterings?
What do you mean?
Like words. We got to get these right because the cosplay people will be like...
Cosplay? So they would have killed you for that. The Hobbit is set in Middle-earth and follows home-loving Bilbo Baggins, the Hobbit of the title, who joins the wizard Gandalf and 13 dwarves that make up the Thorin Oakenshields Company on a quest to reclaim the dwarves' home and treasure from the dragon Smaug. Bilbo's journey takes him from the peaceful rural surroundings into the more sinister territory.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings. That's exactly what it is.
Kinda.
Lord of the Rings. That's what they base it off of.
The Lord of the Rings based it off The Hobbit.
The Hobbit is the Lord of the Rings sequel. I think that's actually a book. Yeah, okay, so cool.
Hobbit came before.
Yes, the sequel is Lord of the Rings to the book. Not only the movies, but there was a book called Lord of the Rings. No, J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings is what's her face?
No, that's freaking Harry Potter. You're thinking of what the frick's her name? J.K. Rowling, yeah. I don't know, could be decent, I guess. I don't know, we get the plot and then how it was influence, publications, revisions. Of course, you know there's going to be some revisions. And people are critical of it, like I see. Illustrations, genre, style, critical analysis. Oh, cool. I can't wait to read all about that.
No.
Wheel said so I guess we got to do it. And with that, this was Sexual Intercourse, according to Wikipedia. Be sure to go check out our other podcasts. So tongue-tied right now. Outlaws and Gunslingers, where we're in the mafia. We're made men, baby.
Yeah.
In the mafia.
Hey, forget about it.
Forget about it. I'm walking here. And then our other series, Battles of the American Civil War, where we are not in the Civil War, but we are almost coming to the end of 1863. And no less, going to be a bloody year of 1864 coming up before the end of the war. And on all platforms,
war should have been done.
Should have definitely been over with by now. But go check us out over there, and we'll be back next week for J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit. We are the Month of Michiganders with
Bang Dang.